Conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way to rhetoric. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is going. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. Conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. Conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low.
Hey, Gorilla Grip.
You were waiting opportunity to bring that up.
Woo, hey, yo, what's happening, people? It is time for Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Low.
And that's a cop.
I would tell you what time it is, but it doesn't matter because some of y'all are going to look at this on the replay, so it might be a different time. But actually, in actuality, it is 8:30, so it's that time for us to get this thing going. We're doing something a little new. We need for y'all to scan these codes. Anybody that's on my live, I'm going to have this code up there shortly. We need for y'all to go look at us live on YouTube because we are live now on YouTube. Yes, we're live on Facebook, but we're live on YouTube. Plus, we are also live on the American New Network under the Mommy Lounge. Ooh, I got it right on the first time. Just knew I was going to mess that up. But yeah, that's where we at, man. That's where we at. The replays, yes, the replays will still be on Spotify, still be on Amazon, but right now, there's a scan code there. Please scan that and go on over to YouTube and check this thing out. You know what I'm saying? You can actually still do the same thing that you do on Facebook. Make comments. We'll be able to see your comments and talk back to you. Now, some of y'all, we understand. Might take you a week or two to get it done. So we're going to be live on Facebook again next week, giving you these same instructions. Well, hopefully you'll go ahead and get on over there this week so you don't have to worry about hearing this next week. You know what I'm saying? So as we're here, I need for you to hit those buttons on the side, those little colorful buttons over there, the like button, the love button, the hug button. You can even get mad or you can cry. Either way, what you're going to do, you're going to help our
algorithm
go up because as I've just said, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, and as I just said also, people, we are on the American New Network. It is an app, the Dame Dash Network. Go on and download that app. America New. New is N-U. Once you get in there, it's free, people. No different than Classic Conversations. It's free. Once you get in there, just take your finger and move up. You'll see the Mommy Lounge. I think you can scroll over 2 episodes and you'll see us. You'll see us. We right there. We right there, man. The whole thing is going to be right there. We're live right now, and we'll be on replay going forward. Angelo.
Yo.
How you doing, my guy?
I'm great, man. How you feeling, brother?
Man, bro, I'm good. I'm a little tired, but all good. Real talk.
Yeah, man. Great week, great weekend. No complaints. Let's rock.
Ascot.
I had an excellent week, man. I just was around looking for Gorilla Grip all week.
This guy. This guy.
People, we will get into that a little
Scare
later.
me.
We'll get into the whole Gorilla Grip thing a little later. But as you can see, we got our guest in the building, my man, Coach Nash. How you doing, dog?
What's up, JT?
Man, good to have you back, bro.
Hey, man, it's always good to be here at
Good
KK.
deal. Good deal. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about the educational system. So we figured we get us a black educator in here, you know, talk about things, you know, within our community. But first, this is what we're going to go into. People, recently, there was a shooting, violent act at Six Flags over Georgia. Supposedly, there was a threat put on social media either the day of or the day before. And there's been a lot of blame going around, a lot of blame shaming going around, you know.
In fact, now next week, if Six Flags doesn't have security out there, then it falls on them. Or if Cobb County doesn't adequately staff that area, then it's on them. But right now, that's just a sad situation.
Yeah, I just think it's sad, period, man, because you got all those, you talking about like 500-600 kids fighting, which to me seemed like it was set up. And to me, it seemed like somebody dropped the ball in terms of following some side of social media, because everything's on social media. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but that many kids gathering to fight, man, that was pre-planned. And, you know.
Just seems like you would have someone monitoring
Yes, that's what I
the
mean.
social media for tags or an
That's what I'm
algorithm
talking
of
about. Yes.
Six Flags over Georgia to where if you saw that something might happen, you would know what's going to happen. What
Absolutely.
do you think about that, Coach?
Well, to be completely honest with you, it was planned.
Yeah.
They didn't tag Six Flags in anything.
Okay.
You know, but they were saying it was going to be a meetup. Just listening to the kids, period. These kids got more frustrations than what we had, and they got more outlets than what we had, right? So I think it's, at the end of the day, it still falls on the parents for not understanding who your kid is and giving them the proper outlet and the proper type of therapy for healing.
So you're saying the parents of the ones that was actually involved in the violent or
The
shooting
ones that are
acts.
putting the information out there. And it's so hard for authorities or Six Flags to go by hearsay on social media because there's so many hoax, right? And you have to have manpower for these hoax. And you're paying people for just in case of, you know? And it's so difficult, and these children know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing by putting things out there that are not legit. And then when it is legit, they know that people aren't gonna come.
Okay, so you're saying the parents of the offenders, whoever put it out there and whoever actually got there and did what they were going to do, you think that there should be some blame put there also? Because,
Yes.
again, of course, all the blame should be on the offenders. We know that part. But omitting them, you know, there's a lot of blame shaming going around.
Of course.
You know, that type of deal.
I don't think it's really a blame because there's two ways to look at this. You don't want us to be profiled, but you want police action to be taken. If it's just a group, it's Six Flags. 500 kids going to Six Flags is not going to put up a red flag to anybody. And if you look at the guys with the souped up cars that do the donuts on the expressway, they've gotten so good at hiding their meetups like you were talking about, it's hard for police to focus in on it. And you got to realize Cobb is getting as bad as Atlanta and other counties for violence. There's a shortage of police officers. Atlanta may be 400 or 500 officers in the hole right now of their 2,000 scaffolding. Cobb County is hiring. Every single police department in the area is hiring. So I know when a child loses his life, parents get upset and people get upset. But the reality is Clayton County's got a real crime. Cobb County's got a real crime. Atlanta damn sure has real crime. DeKalb has real crime. So I'm not saying the murder's not real crime, but we're not, and they wouldn't be investigating the murder. You're talking about kids showing up at a night at Six Flags. I think it has speaks more to Parenting. The black
was the
nuclear
grand
hammer.
opening.
Yeah, I think the parents got to hold most of that.
And
It's a school night and your kids out partying.
for most of our new audience that don't know, when we speaking of counties, we saying Cobb, we saying DeKalb. We're in Atlanta, so these are these counties around. So we got a new audience now, bro. We got to talk to them, let them know where we at. That was my fault off the beginning, you know. But right now, Cobb County is what you call it, northwest, I guess, of Cobb County. It's where the Brave Stadium is.
Yes.
You know, DeKalb County is on the east side. So that's what we talk. Now, when you say the parents, you mean the parents of the students that were just there, or the kids that was just there? I'm saying students, but
I'm saying the parents of the kids that were actually involved in the fight.
right.
Right? You have to know your kid. You got to know what your kid's capable of. And if they're sniggling and giggling in the back seat, what's up? What's going on? Ask the proper questions.
I promise. I really don't. Now, you saying if they was on their way to Six Flags.
Yes.
I'm under the belief, and this is just my belief, that if they posted that type of threat, they wasn't sniggling. They wasn't riding with their parents to Six Flags.
Yeah, those are pookies. They wouldn't ride with their
They
parents.
went in the car with their partners.
Some of them were
Some of them got dropped off, but
Yeah,
you know there's
right.
there's such a lack of accountability.
correct.
You know, and I never could understand the number of kids, because we're not talking about 17, 18-year-old kids, you know, only.
It's 14,
We talking about
15-year-olds.
13, 14, you know, we talking about some young kid. The kid that got shot was only 15 years old and was involved in the shooting just a week or so ago. Same kid. You know what I mean? It's just a 15-year-old kid.
Wow, that part I didn't know.
Yeah, 15-year-old kid that got shot was just involved in a shooting a couple weeks ago. So we're talking about another, you know, these kids are something bad. And so when I say you got to worry about the Six Flags issue, is why are there 500-600 kids coming unsupervised
On a school night.
on a school night?
Yeah, people,
You know what
that's
I
what
mean?
people
That
miss.
age, there's
Exactly.
no restrictions you're gonna put on this. You know, I mean, it's just.
And then you
it's just
wonder why
many
kids
different
are failing.
Angles of this thing.
Are
man.
they looking at the business of it or
Here lies the problem.
exactly? You know, because
Here
it's
lies the
opening night
problem.
and they're looking at the business of it, right? But once again, the parents should know that young man had been involved in the shooting, right?
That young man bought in shooting. We don't even know if that kid coming home to parents.
Exactly. You know,
We don't know. You know, because you were just involved in the shooting, and they know
But
this.
why is he out?
Sounds like
Why is he out?
Sounds like
Because
he
of
stayed
the
with his
juvenile
cousins.
point system in Georgia,
It's
the kids
horrible.
have to get. It's almost
that-
impossible to get the number of points.
You're talking about
That-
why is he out from the house? Why is the parents letting him out after
Out
he
the
just got in
house?
trouble? Out of jail.
Not in juvie.
Got you.
All of that. Why
Juvenile
is
is
he out?
points. You can't keep a juvenile. A kid can actually. We can look out this window right now and see a 15-year-old breaking in that car. We call the police. They're gonna call over to whichever. This would be Fulton County. Fulton County is gonna be full. They said the kid did what? Broke into a car. We caught him red-handed. You know what Fulton County juvenile is gonna say? Start
Strike him on the
looking.
hand.
You got to take him home to his parents. If there's 20 cars broken into, you know what you got to do? Take him home to his parents. Next weekend, when you catch Pookie again, guess what you got to do with him? Take him home to his parents. Weekend after that, you take him home. Guess what you got to do? Take him home to his parents. Weekend after that, what do you got to do? Take him home to his parents. It's not until the points on the system add up, but he'll actually be placed in juvenile.
Man,
And
that
it's
dude,
sad.
that dude.
Unless
name-
it's one of the
that dude
deadly
name
sins.
ain't got to be Pookie. It could have been Patrick. Listen, we're gonna go to break.
St. Patrick.
We're gonna talk about something else a little later.
There were
This
no
whole
black kids
peanut
out
butter
there
thing
shooting.
licking in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. We're gonna talk about that another time. Got to come back to that, but right now we gotta take a break. Then we're gonna get into the meat of the night. Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
And that's a cop.
We'll be right back. What's happening, people? It is Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
That's a cop.
And we are back, you dig? Listen, man, we're gonna get on into this thing. But first, got our guest from last week. Brother, how you doing, man?
Well and good.
Give the nickname that you like to give.
Too free.
We got Brother Two Free back in the building today. I love it. Two Free. All right, so the first topic we're gonna get into tonight, man. All of us as black men is probably dealt with something like this, but is there a fear of the black man? Do we as black people think other races are afraid of the black man? Do we as black people have a fear from within of our own black men? And then is there a self-hate within our community? And if it is there, where does it stem from? I know you ready.
I think it's.
I know you ready.
I think it's already been established that the black man's feared in just about every race in America, and that's planned. I think a lot of that has to do with social media. But my point on this, and I wanted to bring up, is the fact that there's a growing swell of black people that are afraid of their own people, and not from the standpoint of like, oh no, my God, but you know, certain areas you won't go a certain time of night. Just what we just talked about, what occurred at Six Flags over Georgia. We knew that was black kids out there, and some pookies came and messed it up for the black kids over there. And so that's something we need to call out and identify with, because there's a certain segment of our culture that racist media loves to parade across the screen, and it could be 8 kids graduating some cum laude at whatever university that won't get mentioned, but let 2 of them get to fighting over whatever or doing something ignorant. They're gonna put it on there and look at the comments after. I said we need to start, holding parents accountable. All the laws that are put in place to hold parents accountable are never enforced.
So you do feel that we as a black culture fear our own?
Not really fear. It's more so tired of them, tired of the dumb shit. Because no matter how hard you got people, poor people working in communities, they go to work every day, they put their kids on the bus, hope for the best, and they're guiding them and trying to get them right. And then you have a certain segment that, I'm joking around saying Pookie, but you got certain black youth that have been lost in a system that's overcrowded. You have police that are indifferent to it, because if you stop that juvenile, tag you it, anybody that isn't familiar with it, as a police officer, if you pick up a juvenile, he's with you until you find his parents. So you could build 3-4 hours over your shift, and you have parents in Georgia. I'm out at the club if it's on a Saturday night. I catch you in the morning, and they know they're not going to get in trouble, so they will literally stop answering their phone, and you got to sit there until the next watch, turn them over to somebody else. But a lot of times you got to sit there 3 to 4 hours. DFACS is so busy dealing with real cases, not saying that's not a real case, but you got kids every night out there that are on the streets by themselves, and they're dealing with that. So now, to compound that, you got to keep this child. So unless it's one of the deadly sins, murder, robbery, something like that, chances are that kid's not even going to be touched, which is sad. Well,
Brother Too Free.
I think we are, my angle a little different. I think we are feared, but for different reasons. We're feared because we are ignorant. Because in our foolishness, you must be afraid of foolish people. Because they're capable of doing things without remorse. And I think they're also afraid of a man or a woman who is educated and not afraid of the truth of what they've been taught. Amen. So you got Barack Obama, nice guy, well-educated, but is he really feared? Versus like a Tamika Mallory, who's standing on her word, and she knows what happened to her. She knows something's happening to her, and she's willing to fight against that, which is why the governor in Kentucky lost. So the fear is both ways. And they also realized that they understood what they did to us. And if the system is most afraid of, if we ever put something in our brains and stick together with it, the repercussions are fierce. So I think the fear comes from the ignorance. We must all fear ignorant people.
Facts.
But the system hates our most intelligent people who do not capitulate with the supremacy.
Nice.
I like the way you put that.
Did I do it in 2 minutes?
All right, Coach. You being, within those educational walls every day, how do you see it? What do you see, within you know, you're saying all races mostly, but you know, what? How do you see it? You know, in regards
But
to
I'm
especially
seeing
our
grown
younger
people scared of our kids because
grown people of our race or both race, oh, all races,
all races,
Everybody.
scared of our kids, right? Because our kids are loose cannons. They don't know how to talk to our kids. They don't know how to deal with our kids. Sometimes you got to speak the kids' language, right? For them to understand. They don't have big mamas at home no more, right? They big mamas is 40 years old instead of ours being 50 and 60.
Yeah.
So they don't have the guidance. And the fear comes in, like Brother Too Free was saying, they're ignorant. And instead of showing their ignorance and showing that they're not smart, they're going to do something stupid for attention. They're also going to do something stupid for what? Because they think it's cool. You know?
Clicks, the likes.
Exactly. And with us, it's very, how do I say it? Everything goes back to slavery. If you want to think about it, really, you know, the separation of the household. Hey, fear this man. Don't fear this man because he's a snitch. He's a house in. You know what I'm saying? He's a field in. You know,
You can say it.
It's all black.
No, I'm like him. I do what you want to say, bro.
Just don't put the ER
Let's
on
not
it. No
put that out there. We know who the
No
fuck
ER.
so we got so many different things still going on in our community. And like I was even telling Lo and them this weekend, you know, the man is so, he's segregated from his own family, right? There's nothing called Mick. It's called Wick. They're looking out for children, infants, and women. They ain't looking out for the man. You know? So our men, don't nobody take care of them. So they're out there running scared every day.
All right. You said you made a statement that they don't know how to speak to our younger generation. Would that include us? Black people don't know how to doesn't know how to
Yes.
communicate with
Yes.
the younger generation?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to speak their lingo sometimes for them to respect you, right? Like, you got to know what no cap is. You got to understand what they're talking about. And when they understand, you know, they're like, oh, okay, he all right. Let me talk to him a little bit more. You know, kids come to my room every day just to vent because they don't have nobody to vent to.
So when one of the kids come to your room and they do give you some type of lingo or something that you don't understand, do you ask them what that means?
I do.
So people
Ask the question.
stop guessing.
Right.
I asked you that to say when somebody says no cap to you, you don't know what the hell it means. Say, hey, bro, young man, young
On
lady,
site.
what you talking about?
That's a good one you might want to know.
Yeah, you might want to know what on site is. It's kind of self-explanatory, but yeah, you
Or
probably know that.
run me my one. You know?
Let's bring it back. After that's somebody took a L, let's run it back.
No, it's
See?
I need a minute one-on-one, me and you in the bathroom.
See,
Run me my one.
We guess. We
Okay, I know.
guessing.
We just say run my fade. They say
Yeah,
run my
exactly.
Yeah.
But they say run me my one.
Yep.
I think you got a combination of that fear, man. You know, and it's broken up into basically, you know, communities, right? The rich white man is not afraid of the black man as we's talking right now. What they're afraid of is the unity of the black man. You know what I mean? Rich folks ain't worried about what's going on at Six Flags. It has nothing to do with them. It's not in their community. But they want to make sure is y'all don't realize your power and your strength, and if y'all actually get together, the things you may accomplish. Now, in the other neighborhood, yeah, we definitely are afraid, you know, of the black man. Black, white, Puerto Rican, you name the race. You know what I mean? You know, Earthquake told a joke years ago, you know, hey, I see a bunch of young boys on the street. I'm walking across the street too. I'm not gonna go in the same street block they're going on. I'm gonna walk over there. Cause you just only wanna deal with the because of the level of ignorance and lack of knowledge that these people have, our people have, you know, it's scary. I mean, it almost goes to the same thing we start the topic off with. You You can't even take your kids to Six Flags without fear of shootings. You know what I mean? And how many white kids were in that melee?
Right. Six
Question
Flags
for you, right?
has become
Do
that.
dogs smell fear?
Absolutely.
So even with us moving across the street, them kids gonna sense that.
Yeah.
You know? Go ahead, Jay.
But that's what I was gonna say also is that some of us are taking the fear, not realizing that fear
It's giving them power.
is actually is giving them power.
Yes.
By us acknowledging their fear and then acting, as you said, with ignorance afterwards, by doing more things to make them fearful. You're not realizing that they ain't doing nothing but keeping you where they need you to be.
Yeah, but
They are really scared of our, like you said, of our magnificence, of our power.
Prowess.
I mean, we as a people, I don't even want to say culture. I want to say we as a people
Can do some dope shit. when we
could
get
corner everything
Yes.
if we really put our minds to it. You know what I'm saying? Which leads me to the next question. What do we need to do to actually establish the unity? Because all of us have just said that we, as a black people, are also afraid of certain black
I
men or
think-
whatever. What can we do to reestablish the unity that we need?
I think one of the main things we can do is have church leaders, teachers, coaches. When you start putting those people back where you hold them accountable, and politicians, because you got to look at all the black failing school systems. What do they all have in common? Black mayors,
Niggas.
black superintendents, and
Niggas.
no. I really don't think so, because you got to realize majority of black kids do right. It's the pookies that nobody wants to identify, because we got this thing in our culture where anything said against somebody black is said against all of us. No, it's not if it's not true.
You know what they scared of? They scared of being sued.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the mayors, people that get elected, and the only time they do anything for the people is once they need that vote. Once the vote's not there, remember when Mayor Franklin moved all the black people out of the projects in Atlanta? Or we're going to bring it back as mixed family housing. We're going to bring back some of the poor. They had about 2 buildings, and all the other housing, like, say, Old Perry Homes, I've got what they named it now, 300,000. It's out of the reach of just about everybody. And a lot of them were never rebuilt. Bowen Homes, Maynard Courts, Bankhead Courts, never rebuilt. Techwood Homes was turned over to Georgia Tech for student housing. And they have one little building in there that's for like old people. And so that's the point that I think we're, to our own detriment, we have to, I like to call them the black 10%, those blacks that have made it to where they're not in the white 1%, but they're, for us, they're our 1%. And those 10%, I think, do more damage to us just about than to whites. Because one thing, when it's a white hand doing it, but when it's a black hand doing it, that's effed up.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there, right? We think we made it, right? We didn't make it. You know who making it now? The Spanish people, because they're doing what Papa and Nima did, right? In the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. You know, they're stacking their money together, building a net worth that's huge, and they have buying power. We lost our buying power because everybody wants their own. Everybody wants to lead. Everybody wants to direct. Everybody want to be the man. But if we got back together and did things together, you would see the power of our brains, you would see the power of our money, and you would see other people running in fear. These are facts.
I agree with that.
I think you got a general way of getting unified. And the great Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. Just that simple on a generic sense. In specificity, that Elijah Muhammad teaches you, charity starts at home. Black man, black woman, take care of your black child. Once you have a balance there, take care of your neighbor. Once you have a balance there, you take care of your community. If all of us do that collectively, and you got to find where you're willing to sacrifice and what you're willing to do. I may not be wanting to coach football or basketball. You might want to do that. I might want to do finance classes.
Correct.
I might want to lead the choir. I might want to have a grass cutting crew. Whatever your thing is, get down. Be consistent with it. Make sure that you're making that space and place welcome for other black people. And you also make sure you make that space and place comfortable so when you leave, 30 people fill your spot, not one, 30. So if you leave out your spot as the owner of the club, it should be 3 or 4 more clubs coming because you're raising up the next group. So that's what you do individually. And you got to vote, you got to pay taxes. And then you also support black organizations. Get your Afrocentric school. They need money. Give them some money. $20 a week, $20 a paycheck, $20 a month to make a difference. Find your black organization that you're willing to volunteer with if you can't afford to get that money. And be connected. And when you see one, teach one. If you see that little boy needs shoes, maybe you can only get him some fancy shoestrings. Start there. But charities charge at home.
Wow. Okay, good. You said I was getting ready to ask about the time. In regards, because I think sometimes people, you said the great Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. Do you think that some people take that the wrong way?
I hope they do.
Well, the Sunni
Because by
Muslims
any
in the
means
West End did it,
necessary
right?
means you got to have political prisoners. You got to have doctors. You got to have sellouts. You got to have people who are willing to be a father or uncle. You got to have everybody working.
But
And acknowledge, but first, the huge problems, a lot of us are scared to acknowledge that we are black. That's a big issue. Most people want to be this, that. We are African.
okay, that's what you're saying.
See, when I mean black, I'm connected to black people. I don't want to go to North Carolina over North Carolina State, but if the situation is better, if I want to play basketball, I'm gonna go to North Carolina. But if I want to be a teacher, I'm going to North Carolina A&T. I like going. I'm not gonna support that. That don't make no sense. I'm gonna do everything I can to support blackness, and that's what everybody does. But we are so brainwashed to think that the white man ice is colder.
Wow.
Can that be broken?
Yes, it can be. When you talked about leadership, you
gotta
talked about
start
kids
with
at Six
you.
Flags. You can't have these milquetoast leaders or men in their homes who can't command respect. A man wants respect more than he wants love. I want my woman to respect me before she loves me. I want my friends to respect me because we can have disagreements, right? I may not agree with how you raised your son or how you treat women, but I can respect you and we can build something. But you got these when you go away from your blackness, you lose your nuts. You have no chutzpah. Because I'm so, look at these people who look at that Claudine Gay. She got the nuts of a goddamn field mouse. I mean, where's her nuts? She gonna let these people run her position?
Right.
And then you look at the sister who's the DA of New York. Look at them nuts swing. Look at Fonnie Nuts. And look at the lady, Claudia, but she's so whitewashed. She from Haiti and don't even recognize 1804. She's so in love with 1776 that hell, you got to give up your manhood or your identity to be fully invested in whiteness.
Right.
Well, I totally agree with what both of y'all said, and we were definitely in agreement. But I think the one component that we always talk about and miss, anytime we talk about black unity and making it up, is the fact we have to have a mechanism in place to hold negative behavior
We got
in
a
a
joke right
negative
there.
light.
Is that Mexicanism?
Mechanism, fat boy mechanism. Okay.
Oh, I thought you said some
Yeah, fat
Mexicanism.
motherfucker. See, I'm only gonna cuss this nigga out. That's all right.
That was a good joke, though. I'm gonna write down with that.
We're abroad next week.
We're gonna have some Mexicanisms next week.
I said mechanism and we're abroad next time, fat boy.
Do we have time to do comments? Or do you do it after the break? All right.
After the break. All right, man, listen.
I see a lot of comments. I'm gonna get to all of them. I'm gonna get this up.
That was a joke, man.
I'm gonna get this up.
That could have with anybody.
This was real good. People, please look at the replay and think about some of the stuff that you just heard tonight. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And that's a cut.
We'll be right back.
For the algorithm.